That's the interesting question. That's what I have been talking about with my boys as well. I said to one of your colleagues just now in another interview that I hope we are at that point that we have learned our lessons throughout the first part of the season, first half. That goes for the away games as well. I told the other guys just now the game that comes to mind is the one away against Atlanta, where we had 60 minutes of good play, but we still lost that game. And that is, in a nutshell, the story of our away games in general, because the majority we've controlled those games, apart from a few, got close to a good result, but didn't get the result that we were looking for at the end. And those things have been reviewed, discussed, and hopefully we'll do better in the second part of the season.
What do you think the biggest lesson is that the team has to learn?
Well, from a game management perspective, it's very interesting. Again, the game against Atlanta tells a lot of that story. If you go up 3-1 in an away game like that, you should be controlling the game till the end. But like in a few other games, we gave the opportunity for the opponent to get a bigger piece than they had all along going to that moment. Those are moments that we think we recognize better now, and execute better in the following games is something that we're looking for now.
On to the Zoom, we'll go with Justin.
Hey, Coach, Justin Egan in the outfield.
I
You
just
said previously that off the field adjustments in MLS have been tougher than the on the field ones. And with this road trip going through North Carolina and Central Florida and Texas and Kansas in the middle of July, I'm wondering, how are you preparing for the heat and humidity? Have you had to change anything in your usual training or routine to deal with the conditions?
Oh, that's the major part of the adjusting ourselves and making sure that we're ready for the stretch away, especially in the circumstances that you described just now. So the human performance team has done everything within their power to make sure that everything in the program in and around the pitch has been adjusted in order to deal with the heat and the humid circumstances that we're going to experience. But the good thing is, though, that we're going to play an opponent every time that has the same has to deal with the same issues. So for us, it's major. It's the majority of our approach is about making sure that our away stretch is better on pitch in game management perspective than we've done in the first part of the season.
Michael?
Pascal, it's Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time.
Hey, Mike.
Given the team's record this year on the road, what are your expectations out of the next four games?
It's a big, massive opportunity to do better than we've done so far with our away games. As I mentioned to your colleague just now, we've been close to good results on the away games until now, but not close enough. So we didn't get the results that we needed to get in the away games, and that is still one of our targets to do better in away games. And like I mentioned to your colleague just now, having learned the lessons from the first part of the season, the first half of the season, is something that we have to take with us into the second part of the season.
Andrew?
Hi, it's Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue. So you've had one of the better defensive records in the league so far this season in terms of just goals conceded, despite having a lot of different personnel and a lot of different sort of maybe shapes during games that you've played. What do you think has helped you guys be so sort of successful in that area, despite the changes that have happened like game to game? And how important is that kind of to keep going now that you have these games on the road where they're usually pretty tight and kind of like may come down to one goal kind of thing?
Yeah, we've experienced that so far already in the first half of the season. So defensively, we're doing pretty decent, keeping the low numbers in conceding and the XG against, like they say nowadays. But that is something that we also work on a lot during our training sessions to make sure that we do this as a team. You see the amount of work that everybody puts into the game, from the attack to the defense, is tremendous. So that is the key factor in this whole story. If you want to be successful as a team, you have to defend in our approach as a team, nobody accepted. And throughout this process, you also see that the offensive side going forward and creating chances and scoring the goals is in an upward trend as well. So we hope to continue this trend.
Chris?
Hey, Pascal, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Alonso Martinez only had one shot last match, and I know he was returning from international duty. Do you think with him more around the squad now, you expect him to be more involved in the offense going forward? Thanks.
Yeah, that's quite obvious. If you look at Alonso as an individual in the game against Toronto, he was nowhere near the offensive positions or actions that he is in normal in has been in normal games in the other games. However, he's aware of this, and of course, he's been on the road and traveling a lot and playing a lot of games for the national team as well. So Alonso has shown that he's a human being as well, and hopefully we've got him back to his normal behavior again going into this match because I foresee a lot of opportunities considering the fact how Charlotte play as well.
Kristen?
Hi, Pascal. In the last game, two of your fullbacks managed to get on the score sheet. I'm curious, what does that say about the team's tactical identity and how you want them to play?
Yeah, interesting question. You see, with Kevin and with Micha, we have different profiles compared to Tavon and Burke. So for me as a coach and our staff, it's very interesting because our approach can also be different going into a game or tactically during a game. And what it tells us that the offensive mindset that we bring into every game or try to bring it into every game is also important that from a fullback position that you recognize the opportunities and the moments to engage yourself. And these two guys did it quite spectacular in the previous game. And as I said, it gives us a lot of weapons going into every game.
Thank you very
Definitely
much.
super proud of him. I know it's been a goal of his for a long time, and for him to, realize that goal and then also suit up as a starter for 7 matches or whatever it was yeah, awesome to see. And it was fun to cheer him on from afar. And in the same vein, it's not a huge surprise because I think we've seen how much he's developed here in the starting role, and then more than deserved that call up and the chance to suit up. And so everything that we've seen has kind of just been on that same trajectory that he's been on for a long time now. And I think that opportunity was a long time coming for him. So yeah, super pumped for him, and I think he'll run with this opportunity and achieve much more.
When he was getting prepared for the penalty kick shootout, what were you thinking then as far as how he might do?
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the behind the scenes that goes into that, so I had no doubt that he would put on a show, and I think it was fitting that the only one that he didn't guess right on was Alonso's because he's seen so many of them, and I'm sure the mind games between them two, in those few seconds there were pretty significant, and I think it was the best scenario that we could have had for both our players. So I'm glad that both of them got to shine on that stage and prove themselves.
Well, let me follow up on that. I mean, you mentioned it. When you saw Alonso wink at Matt, what went through your mind?
Yeah, it was just a funny moment. I think that kind of sums up Alonso's personality that he's like a really serious striker and about his business, but he also has kind of like a funny and chill side to him where he can kind of feel that pressure, but in the same vein, just kind of in his own way, kind of dismiss it and be cool about his business and finish the penalty. So it was a funny moment, and it's cool that we all kind of have the behind the scenes view on it, and we know how them two interact, and yeah, it was a cool moment.
You were out for a long time with an injury. Did that give you a chance to like either study your position, study your team, and see things differently while you were out? And did that in any way have anything to do with the goal that you wound up scoring?
Yeah, I think being sidelined for whatever reason always gives you a new perspective and a new hunger to kind of reset and just want to be out there more than ever. And I think, my perspective is always to, if I'm not in the starting lineup, just to come on the field and bring as much energy as I possibly can. Especially in that moment in the game where we've gone up 2-0, and then I come on as soon as the goal was conceded, and we're in a 2-1 situation where the momentum can kind of flip in their direction. And I think my way of kind of combating that was just to be as positive and attack minded as possible and to try to increase the advantage. And so I think, the play developed from Hannes really well, where he pokes the ball away and he and Maxi play a great combination. And then I just make kind of a run where I'm originally wanting to overlap Maxi and then see the opening in the inside, and Hannes plays a great cutback. And so, yeah, I think it's just my preference for just being attack minded and wanting to run and get in the box.
You play Charlotte, obviously. What are your thoughts going into that game, considering everything that's happened in the past over there?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough environment to play in, but an exciting one. They always have great turnout, and that's something that's really exciting when we go around the league and we play in front of those types of fan bases. Um, I think they come into it on a bit of a down period as a team in terms of their results, and those are sometimes the hardest teams to play against, where their backs are against the proverbial wall, and they're looking to dig themselves out of it. So. We're aware of that, and we're aware of the areas that we can try to exploit in their setup, and we'll do the best we can with that.
Great. We're going to go on to the Zoom with Justin.
Hey, Kevin, Justin Egan, the outfield. Building off of Roberto's question, when you went down injured, Pascal shifted to, I guess you could call it like oops all center backs, and it worked out pretty well. Did you have any concerns when you were returning about your role or playing time once you now returned?
Hey, thanks for the question. I don't know. I mean, I think it was just a system that we were looking at, and obviously, Burke and I are very different profiles, and I think the way that Burke plays as more of a center back and creating a back three was very important to the way we approached a lot of those games. So I think he's done a great job, and I think our team as a whole is just very adaptable. We can give different looks, and I think that's one of our strengths. Whether it's Burke in there and looks more like a three back, or if I'm in there and it looks more like a traditional four back. So yeah, I mean, no, I wasn't, stressed or concerned or anything, more just kind of a testament to our team's flexibility in our build out.
Andrew?
Hey, it's Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue. You and Michi Ilinic both scored in the game against previously. As fullbacks while playing under Pascal Jansen, I guess how does that experience, like, what as a player who kind of has said you like to be an attacking minded player, is that something that he's encouraging, and like do you feel like that's sort of helped you under him this season and just as the team plays?
Yeah, I think, as a fullback in this system, I think Pascal just wants us to play to our strengths, right? And I think Micha and I are two players that can get up the field, and I think you saw that in the last game where we're both getting on the score sheet. So we just try to play within ourselves, and I think Pascal really encourages that. And obviously, he's got his tactics when we're on the ball and his tactics when we're off the ball. But in that, I think he's trying to fine tune ways that we can all kind of show our best qualities, and I think that's kind of the approach that I've taken and the approach that we've taken as a group.
Michael?
Hey, Kevin, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time. Uh, more than one or two players have mentioned that under Pascal, they feel more free. Maybe a term they would use would be unlocked um, from as opposed to playing under Nick Cushing. What does that mean to you? And do you feel that you share that sentiment?
I mean, yeah, it's been great playing under Pascal. I think he's brought some different ideas into the group that have been quite useful this season. And yeah, I think, I always try to, when I'm on the field, play within myself and play to my strengths. And, I think to a large extent I did that last year, and I'm trying to replicate that this year. Obviously there's little nuances of the game that are going to be different when you're playing under a different coach. And yeah, I mean, I feel great and confident, and every time I step on the field, I'm going to try to exhibit that.
Chris?
Hey, Kevin, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Just curious if you were able to see the giant pigeon float earlier this week and what your thoughts are on that and the pigeon moniker. Thanks.
Yeah, I actually missed the pigeon, but I definitely saw it on Instagram plenty of times. So yeah, it was kind of a cool marketing tactic that we did. I had no idea about it until I saw it on the Instagram page yesterday. But I do think it floated right by my apartment down the Hudson River. So I wish I could have seen it, but we were here training, so I think missed it in the morning.